I asked why my coworker always eats lunch alone, and it blew up way more than I expected. I'm 28 and work at a mid-sized design firm. It's a relaxed place, open floor plan, dogs in the office on Fridays, people eating at their desks or in little groups depending on the day. Nobody's really formal about anything. You grab lunch when you can and sit wherever. A few months ago, we hired a new coworker named Claire. She's probably mid to late 30s, very polished, always put together. From day one, she ate lunch by herself, every single day. Same routine. She'd heat up her food, take it to the small table by the window, put in earbuds and scroll on her phone. Never joined the rest of us in the break area. Never sat outside when the weather was nice. One afternoon, we were all stuck in a long meeting that ran over lunch. People were cranky, joking around, trying to pass the time. Someone mentioned how the team should start doing more bonding stuff, like group lunches or coffee runs. Claire laughed and said, "Yeah, I'm not really a lunch group person." Without thinking much of it, I said, "Can I ask why you always eat alone?" I honestly thought it was a harmless question. Curious, maybe a little nosy, but not mean. The room went quiet in that subtle way where no one reacts, but everyone stops typing. Claire looked at me for a second and said, "I prefer it." I nodded and said, "Yeah, but like every day?" I even smiled, trying to keep it light. "Don't you get bored?" Her expression changed immediately. She leaned back in her chair and said, "Why does it bother you so much?" That caught me off guard. I said it didn't bother me, I was just asking. Then she said, "It's weird how people get uncomfortable when someone doesn't socialize the way they expect." That annoyed me. I hadn't said anything about uncomfortable, so I replied, "I just thought maybe you didn't like us or something." She laughed, but not in a friendly way. She said, "Wow, that's a big assumption." Then she added, "Some people don't need constant validation from coworkers to get through the day." Now I was irritated. It felt like she was turning a normal question into some kind of personality flaw on my part. So I said, "Okay, but you've been here 4 months, and you've never once joined a team lunch. That's noticeable." That's when she said, "And since you're being so observant, I've noticed you're always the one who needs an audience. Talking, joking, pulling people into conversations. Ever think about why that is?" Someone at the table snorted before quickly pretending to cough. The rest of the room went painfully quiet. My face got hot. I hadn't expected her to flip it back on me like that. I said, "So now you're psychoanalyzing me?" She shrugged and said, "You started it." The meeting wrapped up awkwardly a few minutes later. Nobody mentioned lunch bonding again. When we stood up, people avoided eye contact like we'd just witnessed something private and uncomfortable. Since then, Claire hasn't spoken to me unless it's strictly work-related. Short emails. No small talk. If I walk into the break room, she'll finish up and leave. A couple coworkers told me quietly that she values her lunchtime because it's the only quiet part of her day, and people used to give her a hard time about it at her last job. I didn't mean to embarrass her. I really didn't, but it also felt unfair that she got to make assumptions about my personality after shutting me down for asking one question. Now, every time I eat lunch, I'm hyper-aware of where I sit, who I'm with, and whether I'm too social or not social enough. And Claire still eats by the window, earbuds in, like nothing ever happened. I haven't asked anyone a personal question at work since.